Well, hello everybody. This is a video for section 2.4, part 2. In front of you, you should have two sheets for our class notes today, and they both should say day 5 notes on there. One of them, if you look at it, there's got 4 graphs on the front and then, 14 problems on the back. Once I get you to understand what's a zero slope, undefined, horizontal, vertical, we will do all 14 of those problems on the back in about 2 minutes. So you have to hang with me on that. But here's what you missed last time. We did take a quiz over that review sheet that you had from last time, so you will need to get in ASAP and get that quiz made up. I might have the answers to section 2.4 on here, I'm not sure, because I didn't pick ahead yet. And then I answered any questions on writing equations of the lines. That's using that y minus y sub 1 equal m times x minus x of 1. That's using that formula that we did last time. But then I will cover in this video horizontal and vertical lines. They're really easy once you kind of catch a couple of hints on them. And then I got to cover with you parallel and perpendicular lines. And of course we'll end it with an assignment. So not a super hard day, especially if you understood last time. So let me jump right in here. You should have right in front of you this first example. So make sure you have that sheet in front of you. Hang with me, then here we go. On number 1 it says, on the grid at the right, plot the points 4, 2, and 1, 2. So let me go over 4 and up 2. Let me go over 1 and up 2. So I plotted those points. Now I'm going to find the slope of them. And while I'm here, guys, let's just draw that line. Notice that I got a horizontal line. Horizontal line. It says, now find the slope between those two. So change in y over the change in x. So I'm going to go 2 minus 2 over 1 minus 4, which leaves me 0 over negative 3. So the slope of that line is 0. Hey, if you think about it, slope is rise over run. This line right here isn't rising any. So the 0 slope makes sense. So now I drew the line, and it said name 3 additional points on the line. You can name any points that you want. So I might come over here and say 0, 2. I might come over here and pick this guy, negative 4, 2. I might come over here and pick this guy, which would be 6, 2. It doesn't matter what points that you pick, guys, but I want to point this out. Notice that all of my y values happen to be 2, no matter what. So the equation of this horizontal line is y equal 2. So let me point something out. If a slope is 0, notice that the equation looks like y equals something. Let me go to the next one now. It's another one just like it. On the grid at the right, plot the points negative 5, 4, and the point 2, 4. I'm going to go ahead and draw that line. It's just like what we did last time. And I missed my line, or I missed my dots on this computer. But once again, the slope, I'm going to go 4 minus 4 is 0 over 2 minus negative 5, which is 7, but that gives me a 0 slope. Once again, that makes sense. This line's not going up, so its slope is 0. Name some other points on there. Whatever points you want to name. I might name the point 0, 4. I might name the point negative 3, 4. I might name the point 4, 4. Once again, guys, that part doesn't matter. But notice that all of my y values were 4. So the equation of that, y equal 4. So here's what we got so far. If the slope is 0, I'm going to have a y equals some number as my equation. You can probably predict where I'm going to go next then. Come down and look at your number 3. On the grid at the right, plot the points 3, 4 over 3 up 4. and 3, negative 2. I'm going to go ahead and draw that. While I draw this, what kind of line do you see? You see a vertical line. And once again, I missed my dots, but this computer is off compared to the one I use in class. Hey, now let's look at this slope, though. Negative 2 minus 4 over 3 minus 3. Well, negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6 over 0. Remember, this is undefined. So, one thing to point out, if we have an undefined slope, look what kind of line it is. It's a vertical line. I'm going to play that same game. Draw the line and name 3 additional points. Oh, I might name the point, looks like over 3, up none. So 3, 0. I could go 3, negative 4. And I could go 3, 6. Once again, guys, these values don't matter what you pick, whatever points you pick. But if you notice something, look at all of these x values. They were all 3s. So, moral of this story, the equation of this line, x equal 3. What this means, I don't care what point you give me, your x value will always be 3. So you can say, Mr. Harris, would a point 3, 100 be on this line? You bet. It'd be way up here, but yep, it would be there. And then one more just like this one. It says on the grid at the right, plot the point over 5, up 0. Plot the point 5, negative 3. And then we're just going to play that same game. If I graph it, and you know what? That one I missed enough. I'm going to change it. That's a little better. Okay, so once again, a vertical line. So my slope is undefined. If I had you list some points, you should say 5, and there will be some value. Another point would be 5 and some value, and 5 and some value. It could be whatever. 5, 0, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 4. The bottom line, though, all of my x values are 5. So there's the equation. So here's what I need to point out, guys. The reason for this front side is if your slope is undefined, that means you're going to have a vertical line. Hey, and make sure you know how to spell vertical. V-E-R-T-I-C-A-L, not L-E. So if your slope is undefined, it's going to be a vertical line. Its equation is going to be x equal something. If your slope is 0, then it's going to be horizontal. And if it's horizontal, it's going to be y equal something. So there's what we got so far. So if you see undefined, think vertical. And in class, I called it the tomahawk chop. So think about chopping, the tomahawk chop. You would cut the x-axis, so your equation is x equal. So flip over to the back. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this back, believe it or not. So on number 5, the slope of any horizontal line will always be 0. You're going to bed. You're rising none. This line will always cut through the y-axis, and it will always have a form of y equals some number. The slope of any vertical line will be undefined. This line will always cut through the x-axis, and it will always have an equation of x equals some number, some constant. Hey, now on the rest of them, guys, we're going to fly through. It says, number 7, write the equation of a vertical. So stop for a second. As soon as you see vertical, you need to know that the slope is undefined, and it's going to cut the x-axis. Now watch how easy this is. Write the equation of a vertical line through the point 7, 11. My equation is x equal 7. I don't care about the 11. Vertical cuts the x-axis, x equals 7. Write the equation of a horizontal. Pause for a second. It's going to look like that. Has a slope of 0. We'll cut through the y-axis. So write the equation of a horizontal line through the point -7, 19. Its equation, y equal 19. If you were in class, you would see my hand action showing horizontal and vertical. But boom, there you're done. Number 9, write the equation with the slope of 0. So in your head, I need you to see this line, horizontal, which cuts through the y-axis. This equation is y equal the y-coordinate, which is 8. Number 10, write the equation of a line with an undefined slope. Undefined, remember it's vertical. Vertical cuts the x. This equation, x equal -2. And then we got it. Here comes my next little group. State the additional points on the line that has a slope of 0. Slope of 0 means it's a horizontal line, which means the equation goes through the y. It means the equation is going to be y equal 9. But this one said state some additional points. Well, it doesn't matter what you tell me as long as you tell me the y-coordinate is 9. So any number you wanted to make up there and there would work. Here's my number 12. I'm thinking of a line with an undefined slope that goes through the point 1220. What's the equation? Let me give you a heartbeat, see if you could think of it. Undefined is vertical. Vertical cuts the x. This equation, x equal the x-coordinate of 12. Number 13, the slope of any horizontal line will always be, think horizontal, that's horizontal, it's going up 0. The slope of any vertical line will be undefined. Number 15, write the equation of a vertical line, so pause. Vertical, going up and down, cuts the x-axis. The equation is x equal, now just go get me your x-coordinate, -12. Number 16, write the equation of a horizontal line through 812. Horizontal looks like that, cuts the y, my answer, y equal 12. So that's how easy horizontal and vertical lines are. I think I got a couple more, but write the equation of a line through the points 1219 and -219. Notice this, both the y values are 19, y equal 19. Write the equation of a line through the point -47, -4, 100. Notice these values are the same. Answer, x equal -4, because the x values were the same. So there's part 1 of my day, guys. Horizontal, vertical lines. So if you can remember, horizontal has a slope of 0. Which looks like that. So my equation is going to be y equal something. If your slope is undefined, you're going to have a vertical line. Which of course would look like that. And your equation is going to be x equal some number. Okay, so that's horizontal, vertical lines. That's kind of part 1 of my day. Now, if you will, flip over to this part of your sheet. The next sheet starts talking about parallel and perpendicular lines. There's a few things that you need to know out of that. And then I need to show you how to write equations. But if you were successful on last time's material, you're going to understand this time's material. So here goes. It says, on the given grid, graph the line 2x plus 3y equals 6 and the line negative 2x minus 4, negative 2/3 x minus 4. Hey, on this one, guys, I need to solve it for y. So I've got 3y equal negative 2x plus 6, divide everything by 3. So I got y equal negative 2/3 x plus 2. So first, let me graph this line right here. I'm going to start here at 2. I'm going to go down 2 and over 3. Or I could have went up 2 and over 3. Let me put my card down. And I missed my dots again, but that's okay. So there's the first one. Let me switch colors. And let's graph this guy now. I'm going to start down here at negative 4. I'm going to go down 2 and over 3. And I'm also going to go up 2 and over 3. Let's connect those dots. And of course put my arrows on there. I missed my dots a little bit, but that's okay. What do you notice about those two lines? I'm hoping that you say that they are parallel. The thing that makes these two lines parallel, guys, is notice that this slope was negative 2/3. This slope was also negative 2/3. Moral of the story, parallel lines have the same slope. Flip over to your next one. On the grid, graph the lines 3/2 x minus 3 and negative 2/3 x plus 4. I already solved them for y for you. You're welcome. So in black, let me graph this guy. I'm going to start down here at negative 3. My slope is 3/2, so I'm going to go up 3 and over 2. Up 3 and over 2. Let's put my ruler down. So there's that line. Let me switch colors on you. And let's graph this one. Y equal negative 2/3 x plus 4. Let me start up here at 4. This slope, however, though, is down 2 and over 3. Down 2 and over 3. Or up 2 and over 3. Okay, watch what happens, though, when I connect these dots. What I get here is two lines that are intersecting, but they intersect in a special way. They intersect right here at a right angle. They intersect right there at a right angle. From your Mr. Dreher days, vertical angles are congruent, so both of these are 90 degrees. So now I'm going to add this. You'll have to add this part. It says two lines are parallel if and only if. We need to add to that, two lines are parallel if and only if slopes are equal. Two lines are parallel if and only if the slopes are equal. Now, two lines are perpendicular, meaning that they intersect at a right angle. Two lines are perpendicular if and only if the slopes are opposite reciprocals. Opposite reciprocals. That means one's positive, one's negative. Reciprocals are the flip of each other. Some examples. This is not on your note card or your sheet there. If one slope was 5/2, perpendicular to that would be negative 2/5. I flipped it and changed the sign. Another example, if one slope was negative 3/7, the other slope perpendicular would be positive 7/8. thirds. If one slope was 5, the other slope would have to be negative. And then if I flip that, there's an imaginary 1 down here, 1/5. So that's what we mean by opposite reciprocals. So look over to your next example if you would. On number 3, 4, 5, and 6, without graphing, we want to decide if these things are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Guys, the reason we don't want to graph, it just takes too dang long. So to tell if they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither, what we need to do is this. We need to put them in y equal mx plus b form. Y equal mx plus b form. The reason we want to do that is then we know the slopes. So here goes. On number 3, let's put that in y equal mx plus b form. So let's solve for y. So I've got 3y equal negative 2x plus 12. Notice that I just moved the x to the other side and changed the sign, just like we did 2 lessons ago. Divide everything by 3. So this slope must be negative 2/3. Now over here, looking at this, it's almost solved for y, so let's just divide everything through by 6. I'm not going to simplify it because all I really care about is the slope. So my slope is negative 4/6, but that reduces to negative 2/3. What's that mean for these two things? That means that these two are, I'm going to write it up here, these two happen to be parallel. The slopes were the same, so they're parallel. Here goes my number 4. Once again, we don't know what the slope is, so we need to solve them for y. So let's solve them each for y. So I'm going to have this. I've got negative 3y equal negative 5x plus 15. I need to go through the steps of dividing everything by negative 3. But since I'm not graphing this, guys, we just need to know the slope. Let's go get the slope. So this slope is negative 5/3, which would be positive 5/3. Let's look at this one over here. I'm going to move the x to the other side. So I'm going to have negative 6y equal negative 2x plus 18. I'm going to divide everything through by negative 6. The slope of this then would be negative 2/6, which would be positive 1/3. Hey, so I got a slope of 5/3 and I got a slope of 1/3. It's still important, but these lines aren't parallel and they're not perpendicular. What they will do is they will both intersect somewhere, but this would be neither. They're neither parallel or perpendicular. Here goes number 5. 2x plus 4y equal 24. Let's solve that thing for y, at least until we get to the point of finding the slope. So I've got 4y equal negative 2x plus 24. I'm going to divide everything through by 4. So this slope must be negative 2/4, which reduces to negative 1/2. Let's come over here and get this guy. I'm going to have negative 2y equal, move the x to the other side and change the sign, negative 4x plus 12. Divide everything through by negative 2. Slope's going to be negative 4/2, which is 2. Hey, now if you look at these two, one's positive and one's negative, so there's the opposite part, and they are reciprocals, 1/2 and 2/1, so these two things would be perpendicular. So make sure you know how to spell perpendicular. Practice that if you need to. And then my Next to last, or my last one about just what are they? Let's quickly solve this thing for y. 5x plus 6y equals 16. So I've got 6y equal negative 5x plus 16. Divide everything through by 6. So I'm going to have, and I don't care what y is to be truthful, my slope's going to be negative 5/6. Let's come over and look at the other one. 12x minus 10y equals 70. Let's move that x to the other side. So I got 10y equal negative 12x plus 70. Divide everything through by negative 10. So I'm at the point this slope is going to be negative 12 over negative 10, which reduces to, two negatives make a positive, 6/5. Hey, so once again, guys, negative 5/6, positive 6/5, they're opposites. They're reciprocals, so these are going to be perpendicular. Because they're opposite reciprocals. Okay? Hey, so now if you would flip over to the back, this ties into what we did last time. So what I need you to remember is this. Parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal. So here goes. On number 7, it says, finding equation of the line seen with parallel and perpendicular. I would like to find this equation of a line that goes through the point 4, 3 that's parallel to y minus 2x equal 4. So here's what we're looking for. If I look at this line, and on your homework you won't have to graph these, I'm just doing this to show you, but let me graph this real fast for you. I got y equal, I'm going to move that negative 2x over, so I got 2x plus 4. Well, let me come up here, put a dot on 4. Let me come up 1 and over, or up 2 and over 1. So here goes that line. What we're going to do, guys, is, let me just show you a picture here in blue. I'm going to go over 4 and up 3. I want my brand new line to be parallel to this guy. So I'm going to go up 2, because to be parallel, remember, same slopes. I'm going to graph this line for you. It looks a little not parallel there, but they are. What we're going to do now is find the equation of this line. So here's the game we got to play. I'm going to use the equation y minus y sub 1 equal m times x minus x sub 1, just like we did last time. The point that I need to use is 4, 3. Here's the only tricky part. You got to decide what slope to use. To be parallel to this line that has a slope of 2, parallel lines have the same slope, I also need a slope of 2. So here's the information that I have. My point is 4, 3. My slope is 2. Now do the exact same thing that we did last time. I'm going to go y minus my y value of 3 equal m, which is 2, times x minus my x value of 4. Now just simplify that, just like we did last time. Y minus 3 equal 2x minus 8. Add 3 to both sides. So the equation of that line in blue, y equal 2x minus 5. Now we're going to do the next one, but we're not going to graph it. One, because that's just extra time that we don't want to take. But the key thing here, guys, if you see the word parallel, you need that slope. So we're going to do number 8 without graphing it. we're going to write the equation of a line through negative 6, 5. That's parallel to 3x plus 2y equal 100. The only thing that I need out of that other equation is the slope. That's the only thing you need out of this guy. After that, it's useless to you. So let's solve it for y. 2y equal negative 3x. My pen's not keeping up with me. Negative 3x plus 100. Divide everything through by 2. So the slope is negative 3/2. If you went ahead and wrote it correctly, where you had y equal negative 3/2 x plus 50, that's okay also. But the only thing that you need is this. So now, throw this away and come over here and say, the slope I need to work with is negative 3/2. The slope I need to work with is negative 3/2. And do the same thing that we just did using that information right there. So here goes. I've got y minus 5 equal negative 3/2 times x minus negative 6. So that's really plus 6. Let's simplify this. So I got y minus 5 equal negative 3/2 x minus 9. You can do that in your head or your calculator, of course. Let's add 5 to both sides. Y equal negative 3/2 x minus 4. So there's what we got. I've got 2 more examples dealing with perpendicular, but the steps are the same, but the only thing I got to do is change that slope a little bit. So here goes my number 9. Next to the last one, by the way. I'd like to write the equation of a line that goes through the point 5, 2 and is perpendicular to 5x minus 3y equal 21. So first, let's graph this thing. So I'm going to have negative 3y equal negative 5x plus 21. Let's divide everything through by negative 3. And since I'm graphing this, let's solve it for y. So I got y equal, 2 negatives make a positive. So I got 5/3 x minus 7. So I'm going to start down here at 7. I'm going to go up 5 and over 3. And let's graph that. On your homework, you won't have to do this, but let me show you what we're finding now. Here's the point 5, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. To be perpendicular to this guy, it must have a slope of negative 3/5. So let me go down 3 to show you, and over 5. Here's what we are finding. This line in blue again is the one that we're finding the equation of. So picture this, guys. I didn't need the graph. But this slope is positive 5/3. To be perpendicular, you must use a slope of negative 3/5. So the only thing I needed out of here is a slope. I know the slope is 5/3. But since we wanted to do perpendicular, I had to opposite reciprocal it. Now, I don't need that again. I'm going to do this. Y minus 2 equal negative 3/5 x minus 5. Let's distribute. So I got y minus 2 equal negative 3/5 x. Use your brain or your calculator, but a negative and a negative make a positive. 3/5 times 5 is 3. Add 2 to both sides. So I've got y equal negative 3/5 x plus 5. I got one more to show you. The exact same thing, but we won't graph it, just to speed things up a little bit. So here's the last one. I'd like to write the equation of a line through the point -10, -6, and be perpendicular to 2x plus 5y equal 32. So once again, guys, I need the slope. That's all I need out of this. So let's solve it for y. So I've got 5y equal -2x plus 32. Divide everything by 5. Since I only need the slope, my slope is -2/5. Since we want our lines to be perpendicular, though, I need to use a slope of opposite reciprocal. So this thing's negative. I need positive 5/2. I no longer need that. Now here goes. Y minus -6, so y plus 6, equal 5/2 x minus -10, so plus 10. Let's distribute. So I got y plus 6 equal 5/2 x plus 25. Here's what I did because I didn't want to touch my calculator. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 5 times 5 was 25. Let's subtract 6 from both sides. Ending answer, y equal 5/2 x plus 19. There's your final answer. Be careful on your assignment, guys, because I think I did 3 parallels, so you use the slope that you have, and then I did 2 or 3 perpendiculars. Well, you'll need to make sure that you do the opposite reciprocal. So a little bit longer video, but good luck on day 5, section 2.4, part 2. Come in seminar before school if you need any help. Good luck.